It was past midnight in the White House. An intern Max sensed something was wrong. A thunderous boom shook the hallway, rattling the lights above him. Then, something fast, something powerful, raced across the ceiling. Suddenly, the alarms flashed red. Unauthorized object moving at superhuman speed. Max followed the signal straight to the Oval Office, where darkness swallowed the room. A neon blur shot past him, blasting papers into the air. And then, he saw it. Cristiano Ronaldo doing crunches in the middle of the Oval Office. The president looked up and grinned. "Midnight workout, Max. Can't skip core day." Before Max could breathe, Ronnie kicked a glowing soccer ball across the room. It hit a switch, and the entire White House erupted into a sparkling light show. "Tomorrow," Ronnie declared proudly, "I'm announcing National Fitness Day." Max collapsed to the floor. "I quit." But outside, the White House glowed warmly, because even at 2 a.m., President Ronnie was just getting started. What if the most legendary footballer in history suddenly found himself behind the most powerful desk in the world? Picture this. Cristiano Ronaldo, 5-time Ballon d'Or winner, becomes the 47th President of the United States of America. The crowd erupts as he takes the oath of office, but instead of a traditional acceptance speech, he grabs the microphone and lets out his signature celebration. Sigh! The sound echoes across the National Mall as millions of Americans realize their country will never be the same again. Before the inauguration ceremony even ends, President Ronaldo signs his first executive order with a golden pen. Executive Order. Number 1. All Americans must celebrate their achievements with mandatory enthusiasm. Whether you're closing a business deal, finishing your homework, or successfully parallel parking, you must throw your arms back and shout with passion. The Secret Service agents exchange nervous glances as they realize they'll need to protect a president who celebrates everything like he just scored the winning goal in a World Cup final. But that's just the beginning of this beautiful chaos. Within his first week in office, President Ronaldo completely transforms the White House into something no previous administration could have imagined. The historic Oval Office undergoes the most dramatic renovation in American political history. Gone are the traditional presidential desk and leather chairs. Instead, the room features state-of-the-art fitness equipment, protein shake stations, and mirrors covering every wall so the president can perfect his form during important phone calls with foreign leaders. The presidential desk? Replaced with a golden goalpost that doubles as a standing workspace. Cabinet meetings now take place around a regulation-sized football pitch installed on the South Lawn. The Rose Garden becomes a training ground where the president practices his legendary free kicks between diplomatic briefings. Security footage shows him perfecting his technique at 3 a.m, because greatness never sleeps. The Lincoln bedroom gets converted into a recovery suite complete with ice baths, massage tables, and motivational posters featuring his greatest career moments. Visiting dignitaries are shocked to discover their accommodations include mandatory wake-up calls at 5 a.m. for presidential fitness sessions. The Queen of England herself was reportedly seen doing jumping jacks alongside the Portuguese president during a state visit. Even the White House kitchen undergoes revolutionary changes. The executive chef receives strict instructions to prepare meals that would fuel peak athletic performance. State dinners now feature precision-calculated protein portions, complex carbohydrates, and absolutely zero processed sugar, unless guests can demonstrate they've scored at least one goal that day. Foreign ambassadors find themselves attempting penalty kicks against White House staff just to earn dessert privileges. Now let's talk about the policies that reshape America from sea to shining sea. President Ronaldo's first major domestic initiative establishes a mandatory national fitness hour every single day at precisely 3 p.m. Air raid sirens across the country signal the beginning of what becomes known as the Great American Workout. Office buildings empty as millions of Americans flood into the streets for synchronized exercise routines broadcast live from the White House lawn. Traffic stops, stock markets pause, even emergency services participate in the daily fitness revolution. The only exceptions are hospital workers, firefighters actively fighting fires, and people currently giving birth. Everyone else must drop what they're doing and move their bodies for exactly 60 minutes while inspirational music blasts from speakers installed on every street corner. The economic implications are staggering. Productivity initially plummets as the entire nation adjusts to this new reality. But within 6 months, something remarkable happens. Americans become noticeably healthier, stronger, and more energetic. Workplace efficiency skyrockets. Healthcare costs drop dramatically. The country experiences the lowest rates of heart disease, diabetes, and depression in recorded history. But President Ronaldo doesn't stop there. He introduces the revolutionary junk food tax, a policy that makes fast food incredibly expensive unless you can prove you've earned it through athletic achievement. Want a cheeseburger? You better score a goal first. Craving ice cream? Show us your best bicycle kick. The policy creates an underground economy of backyard sports leagues where Americans compete fiercely for the right to enjoy their favorite treats. McDonald's stock initially crashes, but then rebounds spectacularly as the company pivots to become the world's largest sports equipment manufacturer. Their new slogan becomes, "I'm scoring it," and every restaurant features indoor soccer pitches where customers can earn their meals through athletic prowess. The transformation of America's national identity becomes complete when President Ronaldo announces that the traditional Star-Spangled Banner will be enhanced with stadium horns and crowd chants. Every sporting event, school assembly, and government ceremony now features thousands of people shouting in unison while air horns blast triumphantly in the background. The song becomes so energizing that other countries begin requesting permission to use the American remix for their own national anthems. International relations take an unprecedented turn as President Ronaldo revolutionizes diplomacy itself. Trade negotiations are settled through penalty shootouts on the White House lawn. Border disputes get resolved via free kick competitions between world leaders. The United Nations headquarters installs a regulation football pitch, where global conflicts are addressed through organized matches rather than lengthy debates. Foreign policy becomes surprisingly effective as world leaders discover they actually enjoy competing against President Ronaldo, even though he consistently outperforms them. Vladimir Putin attempts bicycle kicks during nuclear disarmament talks. The president of China practices headers while negotiating trade agreements. Even the Pope gets involved, showing surprising footwork during discussions about global humanitarian efforts. The most significant diplomatic breakthrough occurs when President Ronaldo organizes the first-ever World Leaders charity match at the newly constructed Presidential Stadium, built where the Washington Monument once stood. The stadium holds every major world leader, from the Chancellor of Germany to the Prime Minister of Japan, all wearing matching soccer cleats and looking absolutely terrified. President Ronaldo scores 17 goals in the first half alone, while simultaneously negotiating a peace treaty between 3 different nations. The crowd goes wild as he celebrates each diplomatic victory, with increasingly elaborate goal celebrations that somehow resolve decades of international tension. But here's where things get really interesting. The economic effects of President Ronaldo's administration create the most bizarre financial transformation in American history. Tourism to the United States explodes by 800% as people from around the globe flock to witness the spectacle of a nation run like a football club. The Statue of Liberty gets retrofitted with goalposts, and Ellis Island becomes a massive training facility where immigrants must demonstrate basic ball control skills before receiving citizenship. Wall Street undergoes the most dramatic shift since the Great Depression, but instead of crashing, it soars to unprecedented heights. Nike stock becomes more valuable than gold. Adidas shares trade like cryptocurrency. Sports equipment manufacturers suddenly control more wealth than oil companies and tech giants combined. The New York Stock Exchange installs artificial grass and goal nets, because all major business deals now require at least one successful penalty kick to become legally binding. The American economy develops what economists call the Ronaldo effect. Every single sector improves dramatically because the entire population becomes obsessed with peak performance. Construction workers build skyscrapers faster because they're training for the National Fitness Hour. Teachers educate more effectively because they're competing for the Presidential Teaching Excellence Trophy, awarded monthly through an elaborate skills competition involving lesson plans and bicycle kicks. Even NASA experiences revolutionary changes as President Ronaldo announces that the next moon landing will feature the first extraterrestrial football match. Astronauts now train in zero gravity while juggling soccer balls, preparing for the day when humanity establishes the first interplanetary sports league. The space program's budget triples overnight as Americans become obsessed with the idea of scoring goals on Mars. But the most shocking transformation happens to American productivity itself. Every citizen receives what can only be described as real-life video game stats. People walk around with visible energy levels hovering above their heads. After completing the mandatory fitness hour, everyone gains plus 10 speed and plus 5 stamina for the rest of the day. Office workers sprint through their tasks with supernatural efficiency. Students absorb information like athletic sponges soaking up knowledge. The phenomenon becomes so pronounced that other countries begin studying what scientists call the presidential fitness phenomenon. Citizens of other nations start demanding their own mandatory exercise hours, but somehow it never works quite the same way. There's something uniquely magical about doing jumping jacks, while the President of the United States demonstrates perfect form on live television from the White House lawn. Social media explodes as Americans share their daily fitness achievements using the hashtag SIIUUU challenge. Grandmothers post videos of themselves scoring goals against their grandchildren. Business executives live stream their morning workouts from corner offices. Even Supreme Court justices are caught on camera practicing headers during lunch breaks. The transformation becomes so complete that foreign exchange students report feeling confused when they return to their home countries and nobody celebrates mundane achievements with explosive enthusiasm. They miss the energy, the constant motivation, the feeling that every single day offers opportunities for greatness. Some countries actually request diplomatic missions specifically to study how President Ronaldo managed to turn an entire nation into elite athletes. However, not everything goes smoothly in this new America. Some citizens struggle with the constant pressure to perform at peak levels. Support groups form for people who feel exhausted by the relentless positivity and mandatory celebration requirements. Underground speakeasies appear where Americans can enjoy junk food without having to score goals first, though these establishments operate in constant fear of raids by the Presidential Fitness Police. The healthcare system faces unprecedented challenges as emergency rooms flood with people attempting bicycle kicks without proper training. Physical therapy becomes the most in-demand medical specialty as millions of Americans push their bodies beyond reasonable limits in pursuit of presidential approval. Insurance companies create entirely new coverage categories for celebration-related injuries. Yet despite these growing pains, something profound happens to the American spirit. The nation develops an unshakable confidence that transcends politics, economics, and social divisions. Americans walk taller, dream bigger, and approach every challenge with the unwavering belief that greatness is not just possible, but inevitable. Crime rates plummet because everyone is too busy training for the next fitness hour to cause trouble. International observers note that America begins exhibiting characteristics typically associated with championship-winning sports teams. Citizens support each other unconditionally, celebrate collective victories, and maintain focus on long-term goals, rather than getting distracted by temporary setbacks. The country develops what psychologists term presidential mentality, a mindset that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. But perhaps the most remarkable change occurs in how Americans view failure itself. Under President Ronaldo's influence, missing a shot becomes just another opportunity to improve your technique. Failing a test means you need better preparation for the next attempt. Getting rejected for a job simply means you haven't found the right team yet. The entire nation adopts an athlete's approach to resilience that fundamentally changes how people respond to adversity. As his first term progresses, President Ronaldo faces the ultimate question that every leader must confront. Has he made America better? Or has he simply made it more exhausting? Or has he simply made it more exhausting?